This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or exclusive Patreon only gameplays, then feel free to check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. Muldrotha the Gravetide versus Niv Mizzet Parun. Well, we've got mana. We can disrupt some of their mana with the Caustic Caterpillar, assuming that they're going in for mana rocks, which I would imagine they are in an Izzet deck. So let's start things off with said Caustic Caterpillar. I'll hold off on the Windswept Teeth and see if we draw into a land. That might dictate which land we go for with the Windswept Teeth. Well, that's double black and double green, so I may well go for a blue source with Windswept Teeth. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's just play these out anyway. And then we'll go in at our opponent with the Caustic Caterpillar. I don't think blue has a flash creature for 1 mana, not one that's often played anyway. Okay, there's a command tower. I would be half tempted to wasteland that, to be honest, especially if they're holding up counter magic. But instead, let's just go for Windswept Teeth and we'll see what else they do. Go in with the Caustic Caterpillar again. Alright, now they've got colours across 2 basics, and there's a Gutter Snipe. So in response to that, I'll just get out a tap land. Alright, and we get into a Wood Elves, so we'll go straight in for the Wood Elves. And I'll get a Bayou with that, I think. Because then we can hold up the Caustic Caterpillar still. And I'll decide whether I want to wasteland them or not. Well, they've got a 4th land. And now they've got mana on a Chandra, so yeah, that's why you wasteland. Well, makes it more interesting at least. Let's see if they go for the plus or not. They do. They go for adding 2 red. Can they actually use it is the question. No, if they get down a blue source next turn, they can actually go in for their commander. Which begs the question, do we want to go for the Consecrated Sphinx? Yeah, I'm not going to wasteland them because I want Consecrated Sphinx. Alright, there's a Baleful Strix, so I'm glad I didn't blow up this land. Yeah, it could have gone either way there. Had we have blown up their command tower earlier, they wouldn't have gotten into Chandra, but then we couldn't have gone in for Consecrated Sphinx either. But at least this way we get to draw some cards. And we clear some lands off the top. Okay, and there's a Field of Ruin. Don't really care about that, especially with our commander allowing us to play lands out of the bin. Adding some mana with the Chandra, and they can get down their commander here. Instead, going for Banefire. Is that on us? No, that's on the Consecrated Sphinx. The Gutter Snipe will deal 2 to us. Banefire can't be countered there. And now, it might be worth a wasteland. If we go Ancient Tomb, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get out our commander. Go for Wasteland onto here. Hopefully force them to go for Field of Ruin to grab themselves an island. What's the limit break on this? That is -7. Yeah, I think we have to go for our commander. So let's go in with everything first of all. Give our opponent the least amount of information possible. They're obviously going to block probably the Caterpillar here. That is the most useful card to us. Then we go Ancient Tomb. There is our commander. And we can go Lotus Petal into that Caustic Caterpillar actually. Let's blow up the command tower. And we'll make a green with Lotus Petal to get down the Caustic Caterpillar. And then we're online for the Consecrated Sphinx again next turn if we want it. They could just drop an island here and go in for their commander, but that does rely on them top decking an island. And we can play Wasteland next turn as well, so this pretty much encourages them to go for Field of Ruin so that they can get themselves an island. Either that or they have to keep their fingers crossed. There's another colourless one. Really need to be careful with the number of colourless lands you play in Niv Mizzet Parun. Of all the land destruction, Field of Ruin actually isn't terrible because it helps fix your mana and it blows up a problem land. Okay, Flame Javelin going on to our commander. I don't know what that is. 4 damage to any target, so that was coupled up with the Chandra, so that takes them off their off of their limit break with that at least. And it looked like a pretty desperate move to me. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 mana now. So that just looks like Underrealm Lich and Baleful Strix to me. Let's swing in at them again, or into Chandra at least. Again, blocking the Caterpillar. Grab ourselves an Underrealm Lich. And Tainted Wood will definitely tap for black because, yes, we control a forest or a swamp even. So we can now go Baleful Strix. That draws us a card. Oh, but every time we draw a card, we reveal the top 3, of course. Let's grab ourselves a Rhystic Study from that. Definitely don't want to feed my opponent's cards with a Windfall. They're running low at the moment. Now, if I was my opponent, I would blow up our Ancient Tomb to grab myself a blue source with the Field of Ruin. They tick up Chandra and get the red mana from that. We can go wide on them next turn and get rid of that Chandra, assuming that they don't get a creature down. Now it is Mutiny. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another target creature that player controls. So Baleful Strix dealing damage to Underrealm Lich. And the Baleful Strix has Death Touch, so that does count. So not quite going wide. It seems as though our opponent's game plan here is to just keep the Chandra in play. And there we go, there's some blue mana for them. So it might be worth a Pernicious Deed at this point. And now going for the Field of Ruin as well, getting rid of the Ancient Tomb like we said. I think I will go for an island here, as will my opponent. Then they throw out a treasure map that is 1 tap Scry. And when it has 3 treasure counters on it, you flip it and it's sack a treasure, draw. Wormcoil Engine we can play. But I think it's just worth us going for Pernicious Deed. Yeah, we can go Pernicious Deed, and it's not worth getting out Rhystic Study, is it? And we'll want to blow up our opponent's commander with Pernicious Deed. Yeah, so let's just play Polluted Delta. We'll swing in at the Chandra with the Baleful Strix. And then let's play out the Pernicious Deed as well. Then we'll just hold up mana for that. I highly doubt I'm going to crack it during my opponent's turn, but we'll leave our options open. This doesn't hit Planeswalkers, unfortunately. It was printed before Planeswalkers existed. Does our opponent want to play the Niv Mizzet into our Pernicious Deed is the question. They need it for the card draw, but... Okay, going for a Scry first of all. They've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 mana for their commander, even after that. And they put the card to the bottom, so they have no idea what's on top of their library. Now going for exiling the top card. Yeah, they're in a desperation mode here. It is Crackling Drake. That will be a 3/4 with flying, and when it enters you draw. So yep, they do go for that. So they've got a blocker for their Chandra. Chandra has pretty much done all the heavy lifting for them here. If we could get rid of that thing with spot removal and get rid of their rocks, then they're in a really tricky spot then. So we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed and see what we can get into. Let's throw out a tap land here. Go for a cycle land. Okay, there's a Skull Clamp. That's card draw for us. That's a really nice card draw engine, actually. It will get wrapped up in a Pernicious Deed, but still we can... how much mana do we need to hold up? We need to hold up 6, so we can play and equip once at least. Should have held off on the land drop for the turn, maybe. Okay, that's just a couple of lands. Do we go all in on Skull Clamp? Yeah, we really don't want to be giving our opponent too much time here. And we can get rid of most of our opponent's stuff. Let's just go for the Clamp. And keep our fingers crossed we can't counter the Niv Mizzet. Okay, there's a Fleshbag Marauder, that's not the worst. I think it's time to try and outvalue our opponent. So we'll grab our Ancient Tomb Wasteland and another green source maybe. Now we'll just grab a swamp here. I don't think we really need the shuffle. And that's why we should have waited on the land, because Ancient Tomb might actually matter here. Let's go Fleshbag Marauder as well. Now our opponent's going to have a chance to get their commander down. We're obviously sacrificing the Fleshbag Marauder. I think they go for Gutter Snipe here. Yep, keeping their Crackling Drake. So now all we're left with is our Skull Clamp and our Pernicious Deed. Going for another Scry with the treasure map. And they put it on the bottom so they don't like what they had on top, doing that during their upkeep before they draw. Likely that we'll see our opponent's commander here. They've got 3 cards in hand. Going straight in for the mana with their commander. And it may be that they've got free counter magic held up. Okay, just going for the Storm Conduit. Now that is a Scry one as well. Whenever you cast your next instant and sorcery spell, you can copy it. And whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, it deals 1 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. And they've kept the card on top this time. And then activating the Izzet Key Rune, turning that into a 2-1. They're just going to try and outrace us at this point, and they may well do it. Whenever this deals combat damage to a player, you can draw a card. If you do, discard. Life from the Loam, I don't think we care about Life from the Loam at this point. We're having trouble keeping our commander in play, but of course we draw into a land anyway. Yeah, not getting into haste has hurt us, I think. What can we play out of the bin if we get into Muldrotha? We've got 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10, which will leave us with 2 mana. Although 3 if we go for Lotus Petal. We could just go in for Fleshbag Marauder again. Try and keep this thing at bay. Yeah, so let's go Ancient Tomb. We can start gaining life back with Wormcoil Engine, hopefully. Out comes Muldrotha again, as does the Lotus Petal. Made some use out of that this game. Then it doesn't matter what mana we go for, we'll just go like that, that, and go in for Fleshbag. Obviously sacrifice the Fleshbag, we don't want to lose our commander. Alright, now it's just a case of trying to keep these planeswalkers at bay. We can go for Fleshbag Marauder next turn, if our opponent gets their commander down again. And I'd like to get down this Wormcoil Engine and start swinging in with that as well. Not to mention the fact that our opponent has the Pernicious Deed to worry about. I will wrap up my own commander in that if needs be. Another Scry with the treasure map. And that is 3 counters on it. What did they go for first? They put it on top, again during their upkeep. They flip this, and they've got the treasure counters now as well, so that's even more mana for them. It's also card draw when it untaps. But they like whatever card they've drawn into. Going for yet another Scry. And this one goes on top as well. Playing a Blighted Cataract. That is 6 tap and sack to draw 2. Now taking the mana from Chandra. Okay, that looks like even more burn onto our commander, having difficulty keeping Muldrotha in play. Street Spasm. X damage to a creature without flying that you don't control. And then we get pinged by the Ral as well. So I think we're just going in for Wormcoil Engine, try and gain back some life. We'll give our opponent a little bit more time to get their commander out, but like I said, I don't mind, well, I said it about our commander, I don't mind Wormcoil Engine getting wrapped up in a Wrath from the Pernicious Deed. Another loot from the Izzet rune. And I would really love to see a Lightning Greaves here, so again, I'm not going for the Dredge. Birds of Paradise is the last card I wanted to see. Let's start trying to get some card draw with Rhystic Study. Yeah, I'm going to have to be careful with the Ancient Tomb now, because they may have direct damage. So let's just go Wormcoil Engine. Do we want to Wasteland them? Yeah, I think I will play it risky actually. Let's go Rhystic Study. And we'll Wasteland them to try and take them off a little bit of card draw. And then I'll clamp onto the Wormcoil Engine and hope that our opponent doesn't have 6 direct damage. Another Scry from Ral. And then mana from Chandra. Is it finally time to see Niv Mizzet come down? It certainly is. Let's see if they pay the tax on Study. Looks like they are doing, as they should. Got a very capable player we're up against here. Luckily for us, Niv Mizzet does not have haste. Unless they can play a haste effect right now. They've got 3 mana up. Okay, we make it back round to our turn. Life from the Loam. Do we care about Life from the Loam? That adds colourless, not coloured mana. I think I'd rather try and get into something else. Yeah, we'll try and get into something else here. Something other than a land, which apparently we can't do. Muldrotha is 10, I think. 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 3, 6, 9, and just exactly enough. Don't really want to just play Muldrotha and do nothing else. Let's go for this Birds of Paradise and clamp it. And again, not gonna dredge. We get into Intuition. Now let's clamp again. Okay, Victimize. I don't mind Victimize. What do we get back with Victimize is the thing. Okay, let's just put the clamp onto Wormcoil Engine again. And then we'll see if our opponent wants to trade us. I'm going after their Chandra. I don't really mind either outcome here. Either they let their Niv Mizzet go down, or they let Chandra go down. And I think we might be able to deal with Niv anyway. So let's play with our life a little bit more. We'll go Intuition. Not with black mana, we won't. Choose our opponent. They will draw a card and get to ping us. Then we need to make a really tricky pile for them. We search for 3 cards and 2 of them go into the bin. Now this triggers off instants and sorceries, doesn't it? Yes. So if we could just not go for instants and sorceries, that would be good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, so how about just some reanimation? We can go Dance of the Dead, Animate Dead, and Shriek More, can't we? And no matter which they choose here, they end up losing their commander, which is exactly what we want to do with Intuition. Okay, they decide to give us the Shriek More so that we've got less of an option than we would have with Dance of the Dead and Animate Dead. So we go 2 mana into Shriek More, and then we can go 3 mana into Pernicious Deed and take out their stuff, and that pretty much seals the deal, I think. So we'll go Shriek More. We'll lose some stuff in our own Pernicious Deed there, but we can get it back with Muldrotha. Unless they have counters. Okay, they're going for card draw, trying to get into free counter magic. And they're going to ping us again here. And even if our opponent managed to counter that, we've got the Victimize. I would have gone for getting rid of Wormcoil Engine to bring back Fleshbag or the Shriekmaw. So our opponent's commander's going down no matter what here. Obviously target that. That is evoked, so it will be sacrificed. It will take Niv Mizzet with it. And there we go. Now we go in for... We can either Victimize or we can... I think we have to get rid of that key rune. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Our opponent's on 7 mana. If they get into a mountain, then they're going to be able to get their commander out again. We could just risk it for the sake of having fun. Yeah, because we lose our Rhystic Study and our Skull Clamp. I don't really care, I don't think. It puts our opponent too far behind, I think, so I think it's worth doing. And we can get our commander down again next turn. And we're left with a Wormcoil Engine anyway. Okay, so now they need 2 red sources straight off the top. They do have a Scry every turn. They went for said Scry. As long as we can keep this Wormcoil Engine in play, the damage they can do to us should be minimised. And Arc Lightning, 3 damage. But the Arc Lightning gets us, yeah. Our opponent controlled us for way too long. They get to do Arc Lightning to us 3 times, was that? I think they did 9 to us. Yeah, when you cast your next instant and sorcery spell, you may choose new targets for the copy, so... So our opponent did 9 damage to us there, being a little bit too liberal with the Ancient Tomb. But I don't think there was really anything else we could do there. We needed to deal with our opponent's commander. And yeah, I think we used all of our mana quite well there. Let's see if we would have drawn into... Nope, just more mana for us. There's that Lightning Greaves we needed. But we weren't really drawing into much of what we needed other than lands. So I don't feel too bad about that. I think we played that quite well. Had the Fleshbag Marauder have been a Plague Crafter, then that would have been a much better spot for us. But anyway, doesn't matter. I think we played that quite well, as did our opponent. And they won, even though their mana was screwed, so good for them. Riding their Planeswalkers to victory there. Don't forget to leave a like and a subscribe if you want to help out the channel and push the content through to other people who haven't seen it yet. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.